Hi, my name is Nariba Shepherd.
And I'm just known as Graham. And this is Terms of Service. What a road. I just let Nariba take that away on the first on the first try there, and it was I don't know. It's never happened before, and I leaned in very well to the trust.
Yes, glitch in the matrix there, but
yeah, I mean it very, very, very much was. But how are you? Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Oh, we talked about this. This is the last time we can say this, but they're going to be hearing it past then.
No, they're not.
You said this week.
No, this is the last weekend that I feel like it's acceptable to wish people a Happy New Year.
I know, but when this comes out, it's going to be past that.
That's entirely fine. I hope that they're having a wonderful New Year, because the way that the New Year has started.
I was going to say, do you think the trend is going to go down? The year is already trending down. Do you think it's going to go up?
Well, ideally, everything will pause around this drop. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, very
Absolutely.
Aquarius of you. Respect.
It's going to be my season soon. It might be my season when this drops.
It will be.
Fantastic.
Math. How are you?
Mathing it out. How are you doing?
Damn it, I thought I dodged that question.
Nope.
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
It is a sad time, seasonal affective disorder. So I'd be sad. But it's, I guess, regular. It's like capitalism is crushing my soul at every waking moment in life. And every time I think that I'm going to be financially stable, a tooth happens or my back happens. And then I'm like, damn, bills. Also, there was that weird rash we talked about, and I almost went to the
that you
doctor.
talked about, but we don't have to.
Y'all both were here.
We were supportive. We
talked
were
about it.
supportive
I had a
in
weird
the journey.
Rash that it was a stress. It was a stress rash, and as soon as I was about to panic and go to the doctor, a regular human being who is a bioengineer student was like, "You should try hydrocortisone," and let me tell you.
That shit hits.
It does. It really does. So yeah,
for
if
like
you're
$6.
ever having a stress rash because your life is spiraling out of control, hydrocortisone. Try it first.
Not sponsored by. No, not sponsored by them at all. Just a little PSA.
But $6.50 versus however much you would pay without insurance slaps.
Well, I mean, these are facts.
But also follow the directions on the back of it and see a doctor if it does not clear up in 7 days.
This is still feeling like they're sponsoring this episode.
No,
but they
I'm
are
just
not.
like, people in the service industry do not get information unless they're taking it in small bites. So I always try to put helpful tips and tricks in there.
I love an anecdote. I
Thank
love a bite
you.
size. I love a fun
but
size.
how
so
are you now that you forced me to answer this question?
I am fine. I feel like fine is always kind of my default.
Freaking out, insecure, nervous energy. That's what fine means.
Yeah, and then also I feel like I see what you did there. I was literally just about to skate past that. And like, okay, but I was like,
shout out to my mentor in college who told me that when I kept saying I was fine. Also,
I feel like fine in general is just like the default of like, the black community, it's just like.
And existing.
It's just like how much time do you have? And so, but in order to adequately respond to your question, I am a lot better today than I have been recently.
Understood.
And that is all that I could ever hope for. I'm not a big New Year's resolutions person. I'm not a big bring up the new calendar and everything's going to be different. Yep. I just feel like it's different pages in a very significant book, and I'm looking to turning the page on quite a few things, and very excited about what's to come. So that is my diplomatic response.
Fair.
And the past chapter has been a fucking nightmare, but we tap in and we focus and we put one foot in front of the other, and we do our best to continually make it happen. So
yep. Fuck around and find out with life.
I mean, I didn't sign up for the fuck around and find out. None of us
signed up for this.
I feel like some people do fuck around and find out.
We were all born into this reality, and here we are. And by reality, I mean life. None of us chose this. We're just
fair.
here.
That's fair.
Existing.
But I am not on the fuck around and find out because I like a solid foundation as much as possible. I don't like a lot of questions. I don't like a lot of variables here. But, outside of that, to, actually get this going and to have our first guest of the new year.
True that.
I always go back and forth and be like, am I like introducing the guest? But I feel like nobody can introduce themselves better than themselves. So, Naomi, how are you?
Hello.
Take it away.
I'm doing great.
Great. Welcome to Terms of Service.
Thank you.
How
I'm
are
so
you said that you're feeling great, but thank you again for joining us.
Absolutely.
Especially, I know that it's a little bit early.
It's all good.
But it's just like, but we're here and we're doing our thing.
Yeah,
so this is
this
gonna
is
be
awesome.
great. And also super quick.
Wait, introduce yourself a little bit, and then we can do
No,
the
but
thing.
also super quick though.
Oh, yeah.
Super quick because I have this like bushel in front of me.
Oh.
And the reason why I'm bringing up this set design is because Nariba, you killed it.
Oh,
And yeah, this looks absolutely amazing. Looks
I
absolutely
am
amazing.
being acknowledged on
This is
air.
great. Like, this is
Listen,
absolutely
Good job.
this has been four
Praise
or
'em.
five? Which one is it? 4 or 5 years?
We just wrapped our 4th year. We're
Yes,
going
we
into
started our
5th
5th year. Okay.
Yeah.
So
We
it
had
has
to
been
do a little
4
math
years
earlier
of
to
me
figure that out.
trying to do this, and I will literally go and come back, and he has moved things around, took things out, added
Oh,
things.
so you arranged this whole center.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
And he did not move anything.
I didn't touch a goddamn thing. And also shout out to Blind Barber
Yep.
for bringing out whatever they had taken away because we see some old favorites here.
Yes,
So thanks, homies.
110% they're back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. This is
You know?
my, I guess, technically second time, but my first time ever was like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, here?
Yeah, I would always
Oh, it
hear
gets lit.
about it, and then
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then walking through, and I'm like, oh,
It's a different time.
back. Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
But then I also felt very old because I didn't understand. Like I didn't know any new music that they were playing, and it was. I'm gonna use the word ratchet as hell.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't belong here.
I-
It's kind of
listen.
We're
stressing
gonna
me
say
out.
we're gonna say that it was very lit. It was very intense.
very-
It was very. It was.
like a
It was very
Saturday.
active.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But then it does kind of remind me of like spots I would go to when I was in my early 20s.
Right. Yeah.
You took every single word out of my mouth and you ate that shit. Damn. I feel so old when I go out now. I was always
Remember,
at-
you don't go out.
True.
Like you don't go out any longer. Like
People be asking me to go out. I'm like, I just went out. I'll get back to you in 6 to 10 business days about it. Like, I
you're
love
like, I'm
my
on
friends.
recovery
They
mode. I'm on
really-
recovery mode right now. Like this
Ever
is crazy.
since I switched from like back of house to front of house, I don't go out anymore because I'm like, I'm talking to people all day, every day.
Right.
I just want to be at home with my cats, staring into a wall.
I feel that, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fair. No,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, if I walk into like a spot, a bar, and if it's loud and rowdy, I'm like, nope, turn around.
You're like,
I'm good.
no.
I went
Yeah.
to San Antonio, Texas, and for the first time ever, like a couple of weeks ago. And every single bar we tried to go into was too loud or too bright or too smoky. And I just realized, I was like, damn, I have become my sister. Because, like, you
Yeah.
know, she's 50. That's reasonable. I'm not my mother yet. She's 72. That's different.
That's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
Fair.
But anyhow, Naomi,
Yeah.
hello
Please
again.
introduce-
Yes,
this
and
is
welcome.
What we're talking about, the ADHD.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
like, we
Totally
have a very
fine.
free-flowing, organic conversation here.
Yeah, I love it.
So, again, hello and welcome,
Thank you so much.
of course.
Happy to be
And
here.
before we like really get into the things, what's your sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
Boom.
Oh,
It was giving
I
that
know.
energy from the beginning.
Actually, my birthday's the end of the month.
Pop off.
Yes, absolutely.
wait,
happy,
wait,
happy early
will it
birthday.
drop
You're an Aquarius
on
too,
it?
you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When-
But
when's
he's a
your-
February.
February 11th.
Oh, February 11th. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's still just right
You?
around the corner. January 30th.
Today.
Dropping 1 week before your birthday.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Let's
that.
go.
It's my favorite time of the year. Air Virgos really be popping off. That's what I call Aquarius is because it's like a solid concept of a plan, but there's no like checklist along the way, really. It's like, I'm gonna get there. It might not be the way that everyone else does it, but I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yes, thank you for saying that.
And your commitment to doing everything for yourself is probably very high. And it's hard for you to ask for help. And when you do ask for help, if it's not exactly the way that you would do it, it can start the beginning of a spiral that you might not recognize for months.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
I be around y'all. I love
stubborn.
y'all. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
pretty
super
good.
stubborn.
Yeah, same.
But if I have to feel like I need to ask for help, then I feel so low and
I know.
weak and
Yeah,
but you're
and
not.
so like
Yeah.
vulnerable,
But you're
right?
not.
Like
but I'm
there's
not. But
a
then
whole thing.
and I
You're
do find
human
like
beings.
yeah, and it helps finding like the recognizing those things after like I'm about to turn 40, big 40, and the things that I've dealt with. I just over time just kind of learn a little bit from those lessons, and I kind of just go with you know what, it is what it is. You know,
Right.
there's no point of staying stuck in the same like issues or problems. Just
Right.
like you got to move forward.
Yep.
Just keep it pushing. Just keep it going. And then
Absolutely.
it'll pass. And I always have to remind myself like it will pass.
It will pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into what you are currently up to and everything that we have outlined for this conversation, I would love to, hear a little bit about your background, where you're from, and I know that there's a few things that I'm familiar with, but I think that everyone would be curious and would love to know.
Sweet.
So speak on that shit.
Yeah. Thank you.
course.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm still fairly new to Chicago. I am a transplant from California, originally from Los Angeles, born and raised. Also lived in San Diego for many years. And then one of my jobs.
Sorry, what's going on there now?
In California, my
Sorry.
family's
Yeah,
safe.
sorry about
the
Yeah.
fires were pretty gnarly.
everything that's happening right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's like the worst I think California's ever seen, especially
Yeah.
in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was not in my mature adulthood to have experienced any of that. If anything, from my childhood was a lot of earthquakes that we had to deal
Yeah.
with, and I remember those big ones.
Y'all got a lot going on over there at all times. It seems like.
Yeah, it's like such a beautiful, West Coast is beautiful, the beaches and the perfect weather, and then boom, they get hit with like this crazy natural disasters.
Yeah.
What, like the fires happen, and then Northern California got hit with an earthquake, which was like, what? So all these.
I
things
have
just
never
happening.
dealt with an earthquake, but I will
Yeah.
tell you that if I am anywhere and the earth moves, the ground moves, I'm so far out that I can't I
Yeah.
can't put into words.
It's
Like I
a
just
weird feeling.
I cannot imagine, and I don't think that my soul would survive because
No.
it's so
You
far fetched
think
to me.
you-
I
Yeah.
can't.
You
It's
thought
true.
your ancestors stopped you from going down a river in a kayak.
That's correct, because they didn't want me to drown because I can't swim.
We have
Next,
the same
next,
ancestors
next.
anyway.
Yeah, next. That's true. Yeah, I was just like, I still see that is a contention point.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I will say
I didn't do that.
Listen, I grew up on an island, third world country, earthquakes, I know her. I don't think you're built for an earthquake.
No, I'm not.
No.
No. As a grown ass man, I can let you know.
But also my mom still lives there, so I think a lot about global warming and how the water levels are rising, and she is still choosing to live on an island. So yeah, I get it. People want to live in the place that feels good year round and all this stuff, but also people did not listen to indigenous folk when they were like, maybe you shouldn't put all of this here.
Maybe you shouldn't rock the boat.
Yeah.
But
I was like,
but hopefully,
for lack of
listen,
better expression.
everyone is getting the help that they need. I saw a million trillion firefighters are being flown in from all over the world to help with this.
Yes,
So
Yeah.
that was cool. I could
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
stop
no, that was
watching
amazing.
All those videos.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
hell yeah,
so-
Mexico, hell yeah, Canada.
Yeah.
That's
And
what's up.
I
Yeah.
have
South
nothing
Africa
but
popped off.
I have
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
nothing but stone cold heart out here. But I was just like, I was like, tear. I was like,
Admiration.
you know what? I was like, absolute admiration for sure. And so please, Naomi, continue.
Yeah.
So,
Born and raised LA, San Diego. Working for this one restaurant in San Diego got me an opportunity to move out to Austin, Texas. And so before Chicago, I was in Austin, Texas for 6 years. And then I finally found this restaurant group I'm working with now. And 6 months into that company, I got asked to come out to Chicago and open up the location.
Cool.
And then ended up becoming a promotion for me. I moved up to be a sous chef here, and
amazing.
then
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. And then I 3 months after that, I got moved up again to be the chef de cuisine, the head chef there, first and only female running one of those locations for the company.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I got bragging
Snaps
rights.
all
you
around.
know,
Let's
100%.
go.
Yeah. So it's been quite the ride. So 2 years in Chicago. Actually, February 10th is our anniversary. So excited.
Nice.
That's dope.
This city has treated me so well. I made a lot of friends through the people that go through the dining room, and honestly, I found I made a lot of great friends and new connections and networks, and with other chefs in the industry as well.
Yeah.
So it's been super fun.
May I say something on that?
Yeah.
Because the way that you and I met, I feel like was just very, organic and kind of like through industry proximity, right? And I will say that you just have this like silent spark to you that it just like, it really resonates in a way to where it's like, oh, like that's someone that you naturally feel at ease, but yet really curious about. And I forget exactly like how we started like talking. I know that it was at a late night, establishment. But it just like every time was just like, it just picked up from the last time, and it was never forced. It was just like, like, this is what's going on, how do you feel about this? And then people would kind of come and speak to you, speak to me, and then it all like just kind of felt really seamless and easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we met at a late night bar. You sat on one corner, and I was minding my own business on the other side.
That sounds about Justin.
Yeah. and then over time, constantly seeing him, and then like a nod across from, like, oh hey,
Yeah.
I've seen you around. And then eventually introducing ourselves to each other, and then the next time I saw him, like it was like we always continue the conversation where we left off at, and it just didn't really feel like all this time had passed, like any time in between the times that we did not see each other.
Right.
And this has probably been going on for like a year or something like
Oh
that.
my god.
Yeah, for sure.
Justin.
Yeah, it was like a legit like slow burn. Like
Yeah,
it was like, hey, how's it going? It's like, okay, cool. Like,
And then small talk here and there, and then the more often I saw him, it was like, hey, what's up? And
became more enthusiastic.
Or like if the bar was too busy, and there was a seat next to me where I had all my stuff at, and he was like, can you sit next to you? Because he couldn't find a seat, and things like that. And then we'll just like hit off with like really fun conversations, and talk shit and laugh about whatever. And, like,
until the wee hours of the morning.
I feel like
Time like flew, but like it was still very present, but it was just really nice finding an interaction at that hour that was just like, it like matches the energy. And us both being Aquarius,
I was gonna say, like,
maybe that has something to do with
two
it.
aliens walked into a bar and they found each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, facts. So,
I just like never talk to people. I feel like that's how I've become friends with every single bartender I've ever like frequented their establishment. I just
don't talk to people?
I just don't talk to people. I just observe. And I have like, now it's like I have a beverage and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go now.
Well, there's also like, there's value in both, right? Because it's just being present, like, because because it's not necessarily like I'm here to connect or I'm here to observe. And,
I know.
kind of
This is
get
just who
out of
you
Dodge.
are.
Yeah,
I know.
no, but I'm saying like on both sides.
Yeah.
Though, it's just like there's still value, and like if you're like chilling out, like that's entirely fine because
I don't
other
even
people
know
see
if I'd
you.
be chilling. I'd just be disassociating. Like,
I mean,
on
and that's a
the
form of
reg.
chilling.
I'm
I
like,
feel
yeah.
like
No one's
little chilling
home.
out of body sounds great.
It's
So,
real nice sometimes.
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I'll do that. Like, it would just be like, oh, I just got off work and I'm really just kind of like trying to decompress because I have to talk to people and
Yeah.
act a
Well,
certain way.
yeah. You are back of house, and so I've never been into this space. Is it an open?
And also,
concept?
drop the name if you so like.
Yeah,
Sure. The restaurant group that I work for is called Sushi by Scratch.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm the CDC there at, I'm like, running the 6th of now 11th locations that we have.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a speakeasy sushi omakase restaurant, and it's in a 20-foot basement. And above us is also our dive bar that slings our Texas Wagyu smash burgers.
Okay.
Not a damn chance.
That's right. Now,
Yes.
Dean Williams, Chef Philip Franklin Lee collaborated making that burger and brought it.
And I
brought it
think
to
the last time
Chicago.
I saw you, this random dude came up to me, asked me if I was that person. And I was like, I'm not that dude. I was like, I'm not. I was like, I'm so not that dude. And that is the second person in my entire life, because I didn't know who this person was until the first person that, excuse me, until the first person asked me.
Yeah, that's so
and
funny.
I was just like, I know for certain, like, I'm not that dude. We're both light skinned, with
we're-
dreads, hazel eyes, glasses.
Yep,
Okay?
Yep.
I don't have the ability to be out here riding a fucking skateboard. I don't. I do not. It would be true comedy, So shout out to him.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to, be confused for him.
I mean,
in a very hazy environment, if you will.
That's
So
hilarious.
yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah. Braids, light skin.
Yeah, I was just like, we're doing the
Yeah.
I was just like,
You're so tall.
that's what I'm
right,
saying.
and I was
think
just like,
Dean's like 5'8" or something.
yeah,
I
I
think
was just like,
you are also memorable just as a person.
I feel like this person's also memorable. I mean, obviously.
I mean, yeah, but it sounded like you both described him and yourself at the same time. So, like, being a certain, well, how tall is this other gentleman?
Because you know him.
Yeah, Dean Williams. He's a pro skateboarder. I think he's got to be like 5'7", 5'8".
Oh, he regular.
Oh, don't.
No, like, not like that, but
Like
that's like
average
average
size?
height for, wait, what is average height for? No, we don't need to get into that.
I was like,
Shout out to your homeboy.
yeah, I was like, we do not.
We don't need to get
I was
into
just
that.
like, shout out to him. He's great, absolutely.
Slay, slay.
No specific
No.
heights are being named during this episode.
So anyway.
Right? But I would love to hear a little bit about your time and focus at Sushi by Scratch and how you have kind of like created this environment. But I'd really like to start with, for people that are unaware of what this dining experience looks like,
Right.
if you could talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. So again, like Sushi Omakase, so it's a private dining experience. We have 3 reservations a night and 10 seats at the counter. And speakeasy because you literally have to, when you make the reservation, you receive a key code from us, and we give you directions on how to find our door that blends in with the wall when you first enter the dive bar.
Oh my God.
So it's kind of to create that kind of confusion, like
That would give me
dress
so
nice
much
for
anxiety.
dinner.
Yeah, I was like, Nariba, like I could feel like Nariba
But-
like coiling over and be like,
But I mean, it's not like too difficult.
Yeah,
like,
no.
You know, it's not like you have to like feel and touch for the wall and be like, oh, I think I found the
I
door.
mean,
But,
I almost,
Yeah.
like, if anything feels too much like an escape room, I'm like,
not, yeah,
no. I'm like, is this a trap? Is this how
Yeah.
But no, this is not what's happening there.
Yeah.
It's just very cool and hip, and I am your Auntie Reba, so not
Yeah.
cool and hip.
Yeah. So, it's super fun, and usually, I mean, if you the bartenders usually can tell, like, if these guests like obviously come in dressed nicely, they're obviously not there for the dive bar and the burgers.
Oh, fair.
So they kind of, you know, they kind of like seek that out, or already notice that these people are kind of confused on trying to look, you know, they're like looking at their phone and just like wandering their eyes everywhere, and then they kind of give them like a pointing the finger at the direction of like, yeah, you want to go that way.
You want to go right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Safety is down the stairs.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they have fun, you know, punching in the code, and you open it up, and then you go one flight down the stairs, and you're greeted by our host, and then redirected into our mezzanine, the waiting room, if you will. And then we have a canapé service there. So we offer you 2 appetizers and a cocktail on the house while you wait, and while we are getting ready for that next group. And then when we're ready for you, then you come down another flight of stairs again, and you enter this 20-foot high ceiling with all these dope dropped Edison bulbs. You know, like the lighting's awesome, dim. It's very intimate, and then we have personalized nameplates for you when you show up, so we know who you are, and
they got me.
And you find your seats, and then yeah, you're greeted by 3 chefs, myself and my 2 chefs to my left and my right, and then I'm pretty much the main person that talks about the entire course and how it goes. Every time we drop, so it's sushi nigiri, which is like the little sushi bites, 17 courses. And it's also a fun educational journey.
Yes.
And we're not those type of restaurants where, you know, you're just like, can I talk to the chefs? Can I take photos? Can I be on my phone even?
Right.
You know, and they do ask, and we're just like, yeah, I appreciate it. And I'll make the little side jokes like,
you're like, this isn't the menu.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
like chill.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's okay.
But sometimes they do ask me that, and I go, we make a lot of jokes. We have a lot of fun with guests to let them feel really comfortable when you're in that dining room. Like, it is a fine dining experience, but it's also like, you know, we're new homies. You could like ask us anything. You could ask me like what my favorite color is, or you know, what's my favorite food and things like that. So and it's a fun educational journey. And I talk about the product. I talk about the menu, each course, and the ingredients that are on there. And then and I'm like, absolutely take all the photos and videos, and I'm like, how else am I supposed to get famous?
Right. Like, what are you talking
how
about?
else are people gonna find us?
Right.
You know, with no sign, no windows, you know, and I'll also make a lot of
I'm down here slaving away in this basement.
Yeah.
Damn it! Like, I need people to help, like, find me.
Yeah, it's super fun, and honestly, I made a lot of friends that way. I actually met my new dentist that way, my new tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
The city's been awesome and it's been treating me so well, so I'm having a great time. I love Chicago.
It's how they get you.
Yeah,
I've been here.
Are beautiful here.
Yeah, the people, the community, it just like, you know, it kind of, I don't want to say that it has everything else fall to the wayside, but it kind of does, because the community and the people that it holds really kind of outweigh everything.
Absolutely, yeah. There's like some kind of like a sophisticated like class on how Chicagoans like present themselves, and you know, I'll see the hood side too.
Yeah,
but then like, but
it's
all
very
together,
Midwest though.
Yeah, Midwest.
People be saying Midwest nice though, but I have to disagree with that because it's not Midwest nice. But none of y'all said that, so never mind. Yes.
I feel like there's something about being from the middle of the country that like it softens the edges on people, because I moved here from New England and it is prickly. It's like very wealthy, prickly feelings all the time, and I feel like Chicago I've gone through some of the hardest things in my life in Chicago, and like I have not wanted to run away from Chicago yet, so that's a pop off, because I be disappearing into the night. Deuces, you'll never see me again.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's just you going home because you don't go out.
I don't go out.
Okay, yeah. So I was just like,
I'm like, go home into the darkness.
Exactly.
Where?
I was just like, so I'm like, the journey is specific, but the journey is swift.
Yes.
So it's just like, this is where she lands, which I love.
Wait, so you said something earlier. So 3 months into sous chefing, they were like, but maybe you could run this?
Yeah, honestly, when I first discovered Scratch and experienced the dinner, just to like check it out for myself, the vibes and things like that, I was like, I like this. This is like you only deal with 30 guests a day.
Yes.
And I love the pace that it was. You know, I'm like, this is awesome because I come from that high volume, stressful environment. You know, the nonstop ticket machine going off. Like I have nightmares hearing it. You know. But anyways, so. And I kind of had already expressed that my first day in. I'm like, I want to run one of these one day. And I'm like, you pay your chefs how much? You know?
Yeah.
And that was also one of the things that Chef Philip, like in the first beginning of the creating this group, is he made a point to make sure that he would take care of his staff.
Yes.
So the wages were very, very nice, you know? So I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, this guy gives a fuck, and you know,
right.
But also like the food is so different. It's not traditional. It's not your Edomaya style sushi, which is just like the simple toppings or the simple dressings. It's a fun take, like on dishes, you know, miniaturized into a single bite.
Yes.
And I that's what really intrigued me about this restaurant. And but yeah, so I come out here as a sous. The current head chef moved up to be a regional, and they knew that I was thirsty for it and really wanted that opportunity. And I obviously proved myself by every single day doing the things that the head chef can do.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I know I've been in the game for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, so I can break down fish with a knife. So I make the joke that knives are my friends. You know, because I have a lot of them. And I had really, I was like used to being like having to prove myself that I'm worth as much as the next guy, and the male especially.
Literally.
And I'm like, I'm just as good as they are, and I have a lot of patience and stamina for it as well.
Yeah, you have to have a very specific level of. You have to have a high tolerance for bullshit, but it's not just bullshit. It's like ego stuff. Like you have to be pretty set in yourself. I always make this joke, like,
but also there's like an element of like finesse that you have to possess as well.
110%. That's what that's why I was trying to figure out how to say it without saying it. But I feel like if you are a chef, at some level you have to be a narcissist, because you have to believe in yourself harder than the next person, so that someone could like see something in you to move you forward. And like I definitely had moments where I've like said and done things when I was still working in kitchens, even up to the sous chef level, where I was like, damn, like this is not who I am in my day-to-day life, but I have to be this person at work. But no, I think it's a dance that we have to do with ourselves emotionally to like prepare for just day to day. But I will say, like, as you were describing like what you're doing and how you're doing it, it was the first time in a long time that I felt the FOMO of not being in a kitchen, because 30 days, it's not going to happen ever.
Okay. I'm just over.
But
good
like,
for you.
I'm,
and for those that know and have been with us for, you know, throughout our journey, when terms of service began, Nariba was very much still.
Yeah. I was
back
in that
of
shirt.
house.
I was still in that shirt.
Yeah. And that has been and will forever be the foundation of the dialogue of terms of service, because Nariba has such an extensive dynamic background from the front of house, and
Very
the
cool.
same in front of house. So we can have
The back to front.
yeah, but also like we can have agreements that are kind of rooted in disagreements as well, because like the experience of it is so wildly different, and it's very difficult to kind of find your way back to the center of it, to where it's like it's not a disagreement, it's a different experience that brings us to the same solution or a similar solution.
Right.
So yeah. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. I just wanted
Also,
to
good
throw
for
it
you.
back.
I almost want to ask you, like, how did you do it?
I didn't. I'm still in the industry. I'm just bartending. But
Okay.
it was literally COVID because so I became an executive chef 3 months after my old chef convinced me to like come on as a sous chef at this like technically fine dining, casual fine dining situation like in the suburbs of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And then he left my ass and moved to fucking South Carolina, Rick. Yeah, I know you'd be listening. And he
Just
was
imagine
like,
him like driving down.
I know, he's literally going into work and he's like, being yelled at. But no, he like was like, you could do this. Like, you're ready to do this. I'd worked with him for a long time. We worked under the same chef for like longer. And I did it. But the entire time my FOMO was like, you need to learn more. Like, I had only been a sous chef at that time for like 3 years, and I felt like there was so much more for me to learn. And like, I proved to myself I could do it, but I literally was transitioning back to being a sous chef like 2 weeks before the pandemic happened. And then 1 week into like me about to leave, everything stopped. And for 65 days, I realized that I was being hazed the entire time I was like working in kitchens, especially in fine dining. And I was like unhappy, but at the time I was like doing so much coke that I didn't realize it and just like going about my life. But now it's like I can have time to do the things that I want to do, but my fucked up brain is like, the front of house, I'm theoretically making more money, but it's not stable and consistent. And I think that when people argue about like certain things in the front of house, I have a very different point of view because I'm like, y'all motherfuckers, I was back there working for $17 an hour. When I was an executive chef, I was making $14 an hour when you broke down the math on my salary versus how much I was working. And I was like, that's crazy. So it was like a bunch of things happened in a period of time where I had the time to actually think about it. So I would recommend not thinking about anything at all and just doing stuff.
Right.
But that's how I ended up like sort of dipping in and out. Like, I kept getting sucked back in. For a long time I was helping out friends who were chefs and like, I can't find a dishwasher, or I need a line cook for like 3 months. Like, but every time it was the same taste in my mouth. I was like, I cannot do this anymore the way that I could before.
It's a gnarly like love and hate relationship.
Yeah.
Like I totally feel that. But then like hearing your side of and your experiences, that makes you so versatile.
That's what I'm saying. I could do literally
Seriously.
anything.
Yeah.
though.
And then,
Yeah, like the value is high.
And then
Yeah,
for fun
absolutely.
too,
Yeah.
for fun too, like I'll think about like the zombie apocalypse. I'm like, you're gonna be a
I'm
cherished.
about to
you know.
break your heart. I am team cyanide. I'm already existing as a black
Yeah,
woman.
she's like, I'm out.
I am
I'm
out.
out.
I'm not trying to
I'm out. I'm
survive
out.
anything else. This is like a very
She's like, I'm taking
No.
myself
Yeah,
off.
she's like the. It's like the will to keep it all going.
I barely
is
have the
not
will
existent.
now.
Like,
No.
yeah. No.
I moved
You like
from
to
a third
end it
world
all and to start from
That's
nothing.
like when someone asks me to go like camping. I'm like, I moved from a third world country. When someone asks me to sit on a patio in the summertime, I'm like,
You're like, why?
no. I came to America for air conditioning, and that's how I'm going to live my life. Thank you. It was more than that, but like mostly that.
We're still going to be outside in summer, though.
I know you want it.
Sorry. It's fine. It's because we deserve it.
We do. That's the thing about Chicago. Summers get you every time. I'm like, damn,
nice.
this is nice.
I think that's when I'm more angry. Because I'm like, I'm still working.
Yeah, because you're
everyone else
yeah.
is outside. And then
Yeah.
I make the joke because, like, you go to the basement, it's, 20 feet underground. No windows. I have no idea what's going on outside. I mean, there was
that's that
one time,
immersive element, you know. It's just like you're completely in it,
like
you know.
10 minutes, which is like from when I get in my car to the parking lot and walking to work, and that's it.
Yep.
And then because I'm down there 13 hours a day. So
That's like when I was opening up the hotel, Carbon and Carbide building, and you'd go outside to smoke cigarettes, but it's lower whacker. I had no concept of like the time of day or anything, because it's like it's not even, it's like lower whacker where you're going out to smoke cigarettes. So I would go into work when I was like doing brunch shifts before the sun fucking came out, and then I would be leaving work when the sun is already setting, and I'm just smoking cigarettes with rats in the night in fucking Batman land down there. Oh, that was kind of like one of my favorite times, though. I'm not gonna lie. I felt insane every day, but I was never more creative in my cooking. It was crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Don't do that. Don't listen to me.
Like, do not do that.
Like the twinkle was in my eye, but it wasn't good.
Yeah.
But so, and that actually, you know, kind of segues into this portion, which is, you know, I think that I don't want to say that I think. I know for a fact that there is a lot of dialogue in regards to, you know, intentionality of concepts and, you know, the ingredients that people are putting on their menu and the story that they're trying to convey through their culinary philosophies. But I'm really interested in to hear a little bit about the craftsmanship that you utilize within your menu and your creativity at the spot that you're at.
Yeah, awesome. If anything, being a woman in this like male predominant like industry, there and maybe also like I'm Japanese American as well, so my mother, I always honestly like I hear my mom in my head all the time now, and it's such a trip because like back then I was just like, ugh, mom's nagging again. I don't get it. Like, why is she on me?
Yeah, and your mom's a badass though.
My mom's a G.
Your mom is a badass.
My mom's a gangster. So in the culture, like it's she's always like, you know, do things a certain way and keeping it neat because, and she always gave reasons. And then I do that now, and I'm like, oh my god damn it, she was right.
Yeah.
And like because I get kind of psychotic when like things are just out of order.
Right.
The Aquarius in you.
Yeah, and
as Nariba looks right at me, as well.
And it's true because like if it's not in its place, like mise en place and things like that, oh my god, I'll lose my fucking shit. And then and I'll look at the next person, because there's always those sayings, like there's all these like expressions that a lot of people use in the kitchen. It's like, why is your station a mess? Yeah. Is your life a mess right now?
Yeah.
You know, it's like that.
Your station is like a visual representation of what your life is right now.
Yeah. And then also being a female, like we just have just slightly that better touch, and that word finesse comes out because it's not sloppy like a boy. Yep. You know, like
you don't got dick fingers slapping around. That is literally what one of my chefs said to me once. He was like, Reba, you got to plate this. You just got a bunch of dick fingers over here. Because I have small, dainty hands, and I'm not like...
Yeah,
that's so ridiculous.
And that goes into like precision and like knife cutting and like fish fabrications, and
it's also because we're programmed to be caregivers in like all these different ways. So we've literally been domesticated to be multitaskers. Yeah, that's why those TikToks of dudes trying to like cut something out of a piece of paper and tell a story that they know doesn't work. They can't do them at the same time. That's why we are better.
And but I also have that like sternness too. And like one of my guys would say, like one of my line cooks, like, you know, you kind of power trip sometimes. I'm like, excuse me?
Yo.
There's a fine line between power tripping and standing my ground as
literally
your boss.
Yes.
And the fact that he said it, because I'm like, because I'm a fucking chick. That's why he's
yes,
saying that.
Literally.
And, like, this 45-year-old guy telling me like I'm power tripping. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry, but that's not what's going on right now. Like, you're doing these things, and I'm explaining why these things need to change. And when I have to finally repeat myself after like the 100th time, then I'm like,
Right.
okay, listen up, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and like, and I
yeah.
have to like, but I try my best and say it in such a way where they can understand, and not quote unquote power tripping.
Oh,
But
you have tact. I
Yeah.
did not have tact. I would literally be like, close your eyes. And if I was a man and I said what I just said, would you have freaked out that hard? But you don't like it when someone with chesticles, says something that is different
yes.
from what you've heard a million other times, because it sounds like disappointment and not anger. And I think that turns a fundamental key
Yeah.
in the male brain where they're like, you can't
Yo.
come back from disappointment as much as you can come back from a fuck up, because if you're socialized to ask for forgiveness instead of asking permission, when someone calls you out for not asking permission, it feels different. It hits different.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It does.
dude, I went to college for this.
Same. But not for this.
Human development and families.
I was like, I
was like, damn, you did? No, I
did
know.
not. No.
Yeah.
Not at
but
all.
then like it also goes into play as far as like when it goes into like trying to be creative. If anything, what I pull is, you know, my background being Japanese, also living in Los Angeles. My mother, quick background, my mom, she runs a sea urchin import-export company in Baja, Mexico.
Sick.
And she's been
What?
doing this for
So
like,
cool.
How
way
did we
before I
not
was born.
start here?
So cool.
Damn.
It's amazing.
So this is where my boss lady bitch like fucking personality comes out because of my mother.
Right.
You know, raising 4 kids and working in another country, trying to run a company. Also a female, a foreigner in another country that's not hers.
Yep.
And yeah, and I, you know, and I definitely get that from her. And it's funny nowadays. She's like, I hope you're not working too hard. Don't overexert yourself. I'm
Bruh.
like, I learned this from
Yes,
you.
Yeah, it's
literally.
just like,
And
I'm
she
out
goes-
here. Yeah.
And she'll take your pause. She's like, you're right.
Immigrant mom energy hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah. And also, really quickly, like, so your mother is from Japan, is in California, but also like the business is based in Mexico,
yeah,
right? Like that's
yeah, pretty insane.
Whoa. Like-
So there's 4 of us in the family. I have 2 older brothers. They're my half brothers. They have different dads, and my sister and myself, full blood siblings. But my mom's single mom. My dad bounced when I was probably like, I don't know, 1 or 2 years old. And
Are you the oldest or the youngest? Of
I guess
you and your sister.
out of the 4, I'm the oldest of my sister. Yeah, between my sister and I. And out of the 4 of us, kind of middle. I'm like the 3rd child.
yeah. You sound just like me with my like step and half. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm very different. I'm heavily tattooed and did drugs when I was 15, started at 15 and went through things because my mom was not around that much.
This is leading into my theory about why people join the food service industry, and I love it.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's no, it's just like I've talked about this before,
Yeah,
but
of
it's the
course.
theory of like having a lot of structure and then having no structure in like middle school, high school, college years, where you're like kind of starting to be in control of your own life, but not really. And when it comes to finding work after like this time period, you want something that keeps you interested, but also provides you with like a floor plan essentially of like how to work. And I think people in the food service industry tend to be people who desperately need like structure in their lives. And depending
so it's like
on
that crave of discipline.
yes,
Right?
after
That
like
craving of discipline. Yeah.
rejecting that concept, because I was like a uniform bitch in school, and I was like, I never want to wear a uniform, blah, blah, blah. Literally graduated college and someone was like, you should cook. And I was like, give me that chef's coat. It was like a full circle moment. But I don't know. I think it's because And I really enjoy like not the concept, but like the procedure of breaking down fish, and you do it the same way every single time to get the same results. And I think the repetition of things is also very comforting when you have chosen to live your outside life in a very different way than your work life.
Well, and then I also feel like there is an aspect of, you know, since the hospitality community is so transient, right? There's a ton of people from multiple walks of life that
it's not fixed.
that fall into it, and that allows like someone like me that has, you know, just very different, like I don't know, like I've never felt like my life was just linear. Like it was just like I feel like I've been exposed in different in different elements, and I've been around I've been around, honey. Okay. But you know, it's just like you're seeking an element of community, right? And so there is this like misfit ragamuffin like aspect
ragamuffin.
But it's very true, because you're standing shoulder to shoulder with like people that, you know, whether one way or the other, they're just like, oh, okay, like this industry is kind of whatever, or like this industry has actually helped put me on a new trajectory because I think that it is valuable as to how I want my life to be and how I want to facilitate relationships moving forward, good or bad, you know. And because it is so open-ended, you never know who you're interacting with. But then also because it's so open-ended, there are, you know, kind of floating guidelines in regards to discipline. There's open-ended dialogue in regards to coping mechanisms and, you know, accessibility to substances and so on and so forth. But then you keep all of that in mind, but then you kind of go back to like, okay, well, like this is a very creatively fueled industry, but it's not only on the culinary side. It's because like all aspects should be valued as creative contribution, and a lot of time that does not happen. But you feel like you can express who you are, you feel like you have a touch within a concept. Those are the things that create the community of hospitality outside of the concepts of hospitality. So
dang,
that was deep.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's true. It is very true.
Yeah, I mean, because it goes like it hits on so many different levels, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where it really gets interesting. And when people want to start like breaking down why they do certain things and who they are within the context of the industry, frustrations, celebrations, obstacles, all of those things, it's you know, it's a journey to be owned.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
You know, for good or bad. You know, I hope that through the work of terms of service, it just like, it reminds people that it should not be commodified. You know, it should be supported no matter where you are in your culinary and hospitality journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's true that, I mean, a lot of people are starting to say this, that I think people need to experience at least like 1 year being in the service industry to like
For real.
really see those things,
Listen,
because they do give you those like life learning lessons, and and then
they need social cues out here. Like, what are we talking about? I was just
it
like,
also just like teaches them that we too are people. Like, I feel like there's a difference between people being like, well, I could do your job better than you. Like when customers say that to me, it's like, ew, ick. Like that is my ultimate ick. Like you probably could. This is
people say that to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Boo!
literally I will
Boo!
listen,
Boo!
let me tell you, okay. So
Boo!
the bar I work at is like it has like this energy that gives first date like vibes, which I fucks with, because if you look at me crazy, I will find a way to escape you from here. But like there was
You're like, you want to see a trick? You'll never see me again while I'm behind this bar.
well, no, I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about like if someone has a look of fear, like I need to get the fuck out of there, I will like make it happen for them. Like that's the kind of situation. And it hasn't happened too often, but there was this guy that came in and I could tell by the way his like sleeve hugged the muscle that he was going to be annoying as hell. And I'm like, it's a busy fucking night and I am making cocktails. It is also the first week of the new menu. So I know none of them permanently yet. We're all trying our best. And I finish shaking like 4 cans and stirring 2 drinks. And this guy goes, yeah, I could do that.
How dare you? You're like, excuse me.
And this is like, and this is me coming off of probation for like joking about a customer putting something that I thought was weird to put on the counter. I was like, how about I go to your house and do that? Literally joking. But I was on probation with the bosses for a minute. Anyway, I just looked at him and I was like, you know what? You probably can. And I never felt like I got away with a lie more than in that moment. Because he was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, yeah. I just washed all my cans and started over again. But yeah, people, and also when you're a woman, people just feel like they can say whatever the fuck they want to you. So, yeah.
Dude, yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that you are out there talking to people and you want them to talk to you. Amazing.
Right. Yeah.
I could never.
Yeah.
I'm personally like, do not perceive me, which is fucked because I worked in open kitchens the entire time I was in fine dining.
Well, then also like, especially within like that craft, right? Like
people are interested and they want to know.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I'm so burnt out that I don't have that in me anymore. I feel like a curmudgeon-y bartender who should not be at a nice cocktail bar. I should be like strictly drafts and shots. Like in my brain, I'm like, you want to ask questions and I don't want to answer them.
they're like, how was your day? You're like,
I'm like, literally, you know what I say now? Capitalism. They're like, oh, how's it going? I'm like, still working for a living.
You're like, and how are you doing?
Yeah, but they think it's funny every time, and I'm like, so serious. But it's working for me, so I'm gonna keep doing it. That or whenever I'm serving my anxiety, when I walk up to the table, I'm like, how's it going, Annette? How can I help you? And they're like, you have an accent? I'm like, no, that's just my nervous tick every time I come up to a table. I'm like, new person, here I am.
You're like, here we are.
Yeah, and I'm over here like, you know, smiling cheek to cheek, and I do have to have that kind of like persona.
Because I was going to ask you about that. I was like, so is it like,
because people can't see you, but
it's
you
a part
are
of who you are, but
a black on black kitty.
right?
You
but
know?
also, do you like feel like you have to kind of like choreograph the show and like
dude,
you know,
yes.
because that's a and that's also taxing in and of itself, right? Like,
you know, you betcha.
Yeah,
for sure. Because it is guest front facing. I mean, I honestly hate kind of silent awkwardness, and so I'm always like, tell me, and I have my go-to questions. I got my go-to
What did you
jokes.
have for breakfast?
Yeah,
like that was so long ago.
So you do these sushi omakases before? Like, what's your favorite place? And like, you know, I have those 20 questions kind of thing in my head.
Cool.
And also like, I feel like I do have like a fun personality, and I like to be. I can be very outgoing, and so like I want to make the dining experience fun because I do want them to believe why I believe in this company, and why I fell in love with the company, and but yeah, it can be tech. It feels like I'm on stage because the spotlights is on us. We're more literally lit than everybody else in the dining room because we're on stage and like showcasing
theater.
this. Yeah, and it does feel like that. So I constantly had to smile and hello, how are you? How's it going?
They're like, don't forget your smile.
Yeah, and I had to remind myself. I'm like, am I making that resting bitch face right now? Like, am I good? Because like sometimes like I feel like my facial expressions show what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Especially with a very bizarre, I don't know, like gesture that they did or how they ate the food, or I'm just kind of like, I make this like look sometimes, and I gotta like kind of just snap out of it and be like, that was great, huh? That was good. How was that? You know, and then at the end of it, especially,
but also I feel like that kind of that brings the humanity into it. Like, I mean, it should. It's just like if there
That's what I'm saying. You're a real person.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped giving a fuck. I just be like, I just show up as myself every day, and people either really like it or they really don't like it, and like, that's on you.
Yeah. And it can be taxing for sure on the mind, and because I do have to control all 10 folks, and these are people that are coming in two tops and like that don't know each other, and obviously they're there for us and my menu and our food, especially the reputation that we have, and then sometimes they walk out like best friends, and sometimes I think they're just like, I just want to fucking punch that person on the other side because they could be so loud and obnoxious.
Yeah.
And because I have to like also, because I'm always trying to like speak at every drop of the course, and I say, all right, everyone, our next course here, and I have to present it, and sometimes the room just gets a little too like lax, and they get super chatty, and there will be moments where I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't take this next deep breath to announce something, and then so I kind of like done it in a way with my guys where I kind of give them like a little cue, like, yo, can you just tell them to drop, because like obviously they're not listening to me anymore, or they're so deep in their conversations with each other that I'm just like, and I go, okay,
right,
I gotta read the room all the time, and then I gotta read these folks all the time, and then I'm like, okay, so they have no idea that they're in this kind of experience, dining experience, so I'm just kind of like, all right, folks, this is your next bite, and I keep shortening the spiels if I have to, because I'm also on a time crunch.
Yes,
and I gotta make it for the next one and reset the room again and do it all over again, and so that's definitely been like the hustle for me, but like, and I still try to grasp on having fun with it as well.
Yeah.
Because I do want these people to come. These people give me my paycheck.
Yes.
Right.
I like my life. It's hard. It's mentally tolling, but again, I'm not a bitch. I'm my mother's daughter. And again, and honestly, I'm just like also the type of person that just likes making new friends and new connections and stuff like that too. So as long as I treat them with respect the way I want to be treated, at least for the most part, it does kind of go that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, and then people keep coming back.
For sure.
And they're like, honestly, like this experience.
Oh my God,
is
do
so
you
much
have
more.
Regulars?
I have a fuck ton of regulars.
That's awesome. That's sick.
And they're
nice.
like,
especially
they're
with that like
retired
level and
athletes and actors.
specificity of dining. Like that's awesome.
It's super fun because they're just like, you know what? We've been to Michelin-starred omakases in the city, and they describe it as stuffy. I'm like, stuffy? Like, why that word? And they're just like, well, it's kind of intimidating when you walk into those kind of places because it's they don't feel that warmth from the chef.
Yeah.
He just makes the food, drops it, doesn't even talk about it, and then boom, next course. Or if you happen to be on your phone, he kind of just stops what he's doing and just stares at you. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
Weird. And I'm like, no, that's not fun. Because I'm like, I'm doing this all day. I want to have fun with it too.
Yeah.
And I also want to show you like how good our menu is, and I'm also showing like my passion.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I want you to fall in love with it the way I fell in love with it too. So
I'm not gonna lie, I've always been afraid to like try this style of dining only
We're going,
because
which we had already talked about.
I know.
We were supposed to go before this,
but
figuring it
I
out.
just I hate going into places and not knowing how to be beforehand. And I think that's part of the reason that I don't go out. If I don't
But
know
is there an expectation?
exactly, I am an uncultured swine. And
Stop. But
listen, it is my insecurity.
that's fair. But also, I mean,
And
Naomi, is there an expectation of like outside of being outside? Is there an expectation from the diner in general? Because I mean, like, don't be some, rambunctious asshole. Don't try and, bogart the entire experience. Don't disrespect the people that you're there with. Don't disrespect the culinary team. Don't disrespect the team in general. Don't disrespect the space. Like, those are very baseline things.
Yes.
But outside of that, is there anything that people should know?
That's what I'm fucking
You'll be
saying.
surprised, but not everyone thinks that way.
Yes.
Well, because they don't have to.
Yeah, and if anything, most of the time, majority of the time, they understand what they're getting into. They see the TikTok videos that people have done on us. You know, they see me a lot. They're surprised to see me. Like, they look forward to seeing, like, I see you in these Instagram posts, and, like, you know, and they talk about, like, my visual, like, outlook, aesthetic, like the way I look, you know, Asian chick with tattoos, and smiling at you and saying, like, what's up, dude? Yeah, welcome in, you know. And if anything, of course, on my end, I'm just like, oh, I do pray to, like, the ceiling, and I'm just like, please, service gods, let this be a good seating, you know.
Yeah,
and I pray,
right, yeah.
like, I wish people, like, I just hope no one's being weird, or at least respectable,
Right,
wanting to know what we have to say about our menu and why it's dope, you know. And
I think
and
the
for the
reason
most
I
part,
was-
they have those basic, like, visual,
Yeah.
like, or basic line of, like, respect to. They'll look at me because I'm the one in charge, right? I'm the one standing in the middle, center of an entire room, saying, hey, up next, folks, our next course here, this is hamachi. It's Japanese yellowtail. And then and it helps, and I, like, figure out ways. I'm like, if I say it with such, like, enthusiasm and honestly, like, with, like, smiling while saying it,
Like,
it
you
makes-
genuinely believe what you're saying.
yeah. I'm not that I'm saying it's say it's a lie.
No. That's
Right,
what I'm saying.
but,
You're
like,
saying it like you
Yeah.
because you actually take pride in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If anything, like,
People believe
sometimes, like,
that.
some of my guys don't have that, and I just think, like, you know, and I try to, like, give them a tip. As if anything, I'm like, okay, well, try to be a little more enthusiastic, say it with a little smile. That'll definitely help and make a difference in the tone and, like, the cadence that you're saying it in. Also, I don't know, have you ever been to SeaWorld? You know, and, like, those fucking performers with the microphone, and
They're
you know,
projecting.
and,
Yeah.
or, like,
And being
Disneyland
animated,
or
yeah.
whatever. And, like,
Enunciation.
yeah, and
I don't know her.
yeah, and then again, like, cadence in the way you're saying it, and, like, and just be like, yo, be proud of, like, what you're talking about too, because that will also come out in the way you say certain things, especially in the descriptions of our courses and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
for sure. But then you'll be fucking surprised about some of the people. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
What I was gonna say is I think the reason why I've been so scared to try omakase is because I have heard that it's very stuffy, and, like, at this point, especially being so burnt by fine dining, I, like, want to go somewhere and have a good time and, like, be able to learn stuff and experience it. But I don't want to be paying a lot of money to be made fun of or to feel bad about the way that I am versus the people around me.
Right.
I guess, is what I'm coming at.
And then I'll just say that my place is not like that at all.
I know. Well, that's what
Yeah.
you're saying, and I'm like,
it's
all right.
it's a good time, and
Yeah.
and you're gonna walk out feeling like, damn, that bite was so good, and you're gonna, I know you're gonna walk away with some kind of memory, and a good one at that, and then you're gonna be like, that was fun. I will want to come back again and
Cool.
and be intrigued by what Chef Naomi and her team's gonna do.
All right.
Yeah,
I love
check
that.
us out, Sushi by Scratch.
I was like,
Indeed.
let's go.
Oh my
But we're
God.
going.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yes.
Cool.
Well, we're wrapping up on time.
I know.
Yeah.
That was crazy, y'all.
That went by so fast.
I know.
Yeah.
I told you. I told you.
And we dilly and dallied a lot. So
See? Yeah, because it's just like this is the language of the industry, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
just folks talking.
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
chatting, and
And I'm sober right now. I mean, it is like 11 in the morning, but but usually it's at night when I do
Today
that.
is my nephew's 21st birthday, and when I called him before I even got here, he had already consumed his first alcoholic beverage ever.
Shout out to apple cider.
Ever, because he has never drank. I didn't think that he would. So shout out to my nephew Caden. This is way
Happy
past your birthday,
birthday.
but
Yeah.
happy birthday, boo.
Yeah,
Love you.
go on slowly. Don't do it too hard. But
He's in engineering school. I don't think he's getting crazy.
yeah, well, thank
it.
you guys again. This was so much fun. My first podcast ever. So.
Yay!
Oh, so well, I was just
It was a lot
going
of
to
fun.
ask you. I was like, "How was your time with us?"
Yeah, it was great. You know, I was definitely trying not to like overthink anything, and
No,
I
don't.
am the type of just go with the flow. And
Yes.
Yeah.
and it was super chill. Like
Great.
I didn't feel like I lost train of thought of anything, and if anything, it's just like, you know, I got a story to tell, and and what I do is pretty dope, and the people that I work for are awesome, and they look out for their own. And I've just been having a great time in Chicago. A lot of love for the city for sure. Yeah, it's been great.
That's what I love to
thank
hear.
You so much. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity for, letting me, kind of share my story and like my background and stuff.
I mean,
like that.
thanks for coming in on a work day, because I know you're gonna hustle out of here and go slang some. I fucking know, dude. That's why, we are gonna be responsible about our time today.
Sure. But then, just in closing, how do the people find you in Sushi by Scratch and all that?
Sushi by Scratch, Chicago. I'm the CDC there. I do have an Instagram.
Drop it.
It's Nay __ Homeski HOMESKI.
Nice.
Naomi Kubo. Find me on there. I got a bunch of cat photos and food and shenanigans that I get into. But come check us out. Appreciate it. Yeah, good times.
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. And so
we're doing it.
I know.
Well, you got to do it.
I know. I was just like, but also like it's very easy for me on this one, because
it's just us in the city.
It's just us, and this is great. And I feel like every time I acknowledge our partners and homies at Blind Barber Chicago, it's always as a kind of closing remark. But we're now in our 5th year of doing this. Blind Barber, Blind Barber, thank you. Blind Barber has helped us really build this out to something sustainable and something beautiful and intentional. And
all here from Dad's basement.
I mean, but upstairs.
We upstairs though.
Absolutely. And I just could not be more grateful for their trust and support. And, as I always say, shout out to the homies at Blind Barber for hosting this necessary conversation. Yeah. But even more so, shout out to the homies for truly believing in the platform that is Terms of Service, and all of the support that translates to the industry at large for our audience to interact with. And, I think it's a really beautiful thing. Nariba.
It is, yeah. It's awesome.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Mm-hmm. I am very excited that we are finally acknowledging that we know 4 years done, 5th year start.
That's correct.
So we're going into the 5th year.
That's correct. So does that make us 4 or 5?
We're 4.
Okay.
Well, technically the birthing process was 6 months prior to that. And so if you think about it, really, we're like 7.
No, we're not doing that.
No,
we're not doing that. Nice try though. Thanks.
We did start in 2020.
Yes.
New Year's Eve 2020.
Yeah.
So it feels good to be back again because we have dilly-dallied.
Well, and also
because life kept happening.
Because life
kept happening, and sometimes
kept happening.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
But also on that note, thank you to everyone that has helped get us to this point.
Yes.
It's just like everyone that has contributed with Garnet, everyone from the production crew, everyone on editing, everyone from sound, everyone from legal, everyone in regards to live episodes. Which actually, this is very funny because I'm going to drop this right now.
Oh, true.
We have a live episode recording.
Yep.
Coming up on January 30th.
Yeah, we do.
You can find all of that information at Terms of Service Podcast on Instagram. Mm-hmm. When you hear this, it'll be live and lit and great. And you all should come out because you deserve to be celebrated amongst the community that you are a part of.
True.
So,
what he said.
On that note,
indeed,
I am Justin Onat Graham, and you can find me on Instagram at ThisIsBiko.
My name is Nariba Shepherd. You can find me on Instagram at Rebaru, REBARU. And that's that.
That's all she wrote, folks. So thank you so very much. And we did it.
Yay.
Bye.
Thank you so
much.
Bye.